Hello and welcome. It's Andrea, and this is Reiki 101. It's the new video series I'm making for YouTube, and this is our second video together. I am going to go a little bit more in depth about defining Reiki for you in this video, and then we'll talk a little bit of history and origins at the end, and I'll even tell you at the end of this video what's next in video number 3. So stay tuned every Friday for a new video in this series. I also want to hear from you. If you have questions about Reiki, go ahead and put those down in the comments, and we'll try to answer these questions as we go through the series. In our last video, I talked to you about how Reiki is a stress reduction and relaxation technique that can be administered through the hands, either on the body or off the body or even over distance. And so I want to pick up from there a little bit, but we want to even look at the kanji, the word Reiki, and what that looks like. You've probably seen it out on the internet, or some people even have tattoos and things like that of this kanji meaning Reiki. Now I'm going to use this manual. This is the manual that I use in my classes, and it's got a lot of really great information in it. And so there it is there if you're interested in the manual. All right. And it is available at reiki.org if you're interested in that. So I want to show you this kanji. And when I teach my classes, I use this for my students to illustrate one interpretation about Reiki, but I really love it because it's visual, and I think it tells a bit of a story. Now, this is the Tensho style of writing, and this is, again, the kanji for Reiki. Now, there are actually two sections here, two kanji. The upper one is REI, or what we call Rei, and this bottom part here, this part that's now visible, is Ki. And you've heard of Ki before, or perhaps Chi or Prana, Tai Chi, Qigong. You've heard those words probably. So Ki is Japanese for life force energy, and that's this bottom part. Okay, so we'll get to that in a moment. I want to bring your attention to this upper part of the kanji. And you see these lines here depicted here, these 4 lines. So what this interpreted in our video here, we're going to talk about it representing clouds and higher levels of consciousness. Now I'm going to skip these 3 right now, and then I'm going to bring your attention here to these horizontal lines with this one vertical. These lines represent the earth and the layers of soil and rock, stone, all the different layers of the earth. So we've got higher realms of consciousness, we've got the earth. So then we've got these 3 figures right here, and they're really all about the same. There are really no distinctive differences between them. And so what are these? These represent body, mind, spirit of the practitioner, of the person who learns Reiki. And so what this means up here, and we're only looking at the Rei part, what this means is the Reiki practitioner brings down the energy of the higher realms of consciousness, the spiritual energy, to the earth. So in essence, the Reiki practitioner is a bridge that brings this energy to the earth. Isn't that lovely? It's just amazing, I think. Down here, what is that? This is actually the kanji for rice in here. And this is depicting a pot of boiling rice. And why would it be depicting that? Ki, this vital life force energy, is, of course, inherent in all living things. And so anything that's alive has Ki. And we can demonstrate the power of Ki with this part of the kanji. So this is rice in a pot of boiling water. And you can see that it almost looks like it's bursting, doesn't it? So there's the lines emanating from the center. This is the handle, and this is the top of a pot. So the rice is boiling in this pot. And we know it's boiling because we see these 2 lines up here. These lines are representing the lid of the pot being forced open as the steam lifts the lid to allow the energy from inside to escape. So you see, if we put both Reiki together, we see that it's about bringing spiritual, guided energy from the highest of heavens through a person to the planet. So it's spiritually guided life force energy. And why is it spiritually guided? Because it originates in the highest levels of consciousness. This has wisdom. The practitioner is simply a bridge, bringing down in its most pure form this energy to the earth. And so that's one way that we might look at Reiki. And I like this because it tells a little bit of a story with the image. If you've been following along in these two videos, you've probably noticed, or at least I hope you've noticed so far, that I haven't said anything about God or religion or angels or guides or anything like that. And that's for good reason. Reiki is an energy, and it's an energy that has a wisdom to it. So the practitioner, whoever's channeling that energy, again, they're a bridge. And so no special skill or knowledge is actually even needed by the practitioner in order to successfully be that bridge and bring that energy through. And so I just want to take a moment to point this out, that Reiki is not religious in any way, and nothing that I've said would contradict any religion either. Basically, living things have a life force energy. There is a place of higher frequency energy, higher spiritual consciousness, and that energy can be brought from those higher realms of consciousness to the earth. Again, no religion, doesn't go against any religion, doesn't promote any religion. Anyone can learn Reiki. So regardless of belief, okay? This is one of the things I like to make really clear, because there's a lot of misconception out there. And don't get me wrong, a lot of Reiki people talk about angels and guides and different things like that, or they may be religious themselves and they bring God and other religious figures and verbiage or words into how they practice Reiki. But you see, that's how they practice. That's not a requirement. Reiki allows us to be ourselves and just bring who we are to our practice. So that's why when you look out into the world and you might listen to different Reiki practitioners or go to different Reiki practitioners, that's why they may bring different elements into the practice, even adding other modalities to it. But let's remember, at its heart, what is Reiki? It is this energy coming from the universe to the earth through a person, and it always works for our highest good. It doesn't cause harm. It's just life energy. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. This energy that I'm talking about is life energy, and so I think it's probably fair to say that this energy has been around for as long as life has been in existence. But the word Reiki is Japanese, and it's really attributed to how we practice today, I guess I should say, is really attributed to a man named Mikao Usui, who lived in Japan. And in 1922, he discovered Reiki for himself. Now, it is important to note that there were actually at least 4 other styles of Reiki being practiced in Japan before Mikao Usui discovered Reiki for himself in his life. And I'm not a scholar. I don't pretend to be a scholar, but I will offer you some of my perspective of the history and what many people are taught. There are scholars and researchers in the world of Reiki. There's some books out there and that kind of thing. I pretty much rely on my manual that has been researched, and there are footnotes in there. So I feel pretty comfortable in sharing that. But if you have more of an interest in the history and all of those details, certainly find a book for yourself out there and dive in. What I would suggest, however, is find a book that is relatively new, newly published, because the history of what we know about Reiki and the important parts of its development have been researched in the last number of years and fine-tuned. I know when I first learned Reiki in 1995, I was taught some things that we just know today are not true. And to no fault of anyone's, we just have learned over the years more about its history. And again, just find a source that is more recent, and that those early teachings that might not be so accurate, that is one reason why you might find different information out there, even still probably being taught by some Reiki master teachers, because that's what they were taught. With that in mind, let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about Mikao Usui and what happened. So back in Japan, it was in 1922, he had actually been searching for years for enlightenment. And this was a special state of enlightenment known as Anshin. I hope I'm saying that all right for anyone knowing Japanese, but he dedicated his life to really finding this special state of enlightenment. He wanted to know his life's purpose, which I think a lot of us can relate to that. And he wanted to be able to follow that life's purpose. He was also looking for that special state of peace within and joy within, that no matter what was going on outside of himself, that would be maintained, and not through any work on his part, but it would just be a natural state. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? So for years, he tried to attain this Anshin, and he was not successful. And so what he did, he had a teacher at that time, and the teacher recommended that he fast and meditate in order to perhaps get closer and perhaps find this state of enlightenment. So Mikao Usui went to a mountain where he fasted and meditated. And on the 21st day, he was very weak and near death, as you can imagine, after fasting for so long. He stood up, and at that time, a very powerful light shot through his head. You might think about it similar to lightning, maybe, but he fell down. He was unconscious. And when he woke up, he didn't feel weak anymore. He felt completely restored, better than even normal, we might say. He felt just completely full of energy, full of vitality. He also felt a spiritual sense, a oneness with the universe, as though the universe was within him. It was extremely enjoyable and profound. It was then that he realized that he did receive what he had been searching for. This whole time he was successful, and he felt as though he had been enlightened. He was very excited to tell his teacher, so he went running down the mountain, and he stubbed his toe very hard on a rock, and it hurt very much. He fell down, and he actually grabbed his toe in his hands. Anybody would normally do. And as he did that, he felt an energy flowing through his hands that he didn't even know about. So it was an automatic sort of reaction. And the energy started flowing through his hands to his toe and to his foot. And it wasn't long, the pain was gone. And it was then he realized that not only did he receive enlightenment, he actually also received this gift of healing energy. And he knew then that his life's purpose was to help others with this energy, and also to help them by teaching them about this energy so that they could help themselves and others as well. Now, as we wind down this video, I want to point something out to you that I think is, again, so important. And that is when Usui, and we do call him Usui Sensei, meaning teacher, when Usui was on the mountain and received this healing energy and a state of enlightenment, all he had was the energy that we call Reiki today, but all he had was the energy. There were no symbols. There were no attunements. There was nothing else, no techniques, no Byosen scanning like you might have seen me do on the channel and different things, no hand placements. So in the early days, Reiki was just the energy, wasn't it? And that's going to come in handy as we move next week into video number 3, where I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about Reiki, this energy. I want to talk to you a little bit more about this ki part and also how Reiki is different than other healing modalities, other energy healing modalities. It is unique in a certain way, and we'll talk about that next time. I hope you'll tune in then. And so if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead, please, and subscribe and get your notifications. And then you'll get that video when it comes out. And until then, I'll see you on the channel. I'll have another video out for you on Tuesday, a Reiki healing video. I hope you're enjoying the channel. I enjoy making the videos for you. And until next time, I wish you the highest of blessings. You take very good care of yourself.